Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sleep When I'm Dead Book Club live show for The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I am so excited because I don't think I've done a Riley Sager on my book club, which seems like a crime, but super excited.
Also, I'm so sorry I'm not wearing merch. I have the baseball hat and obviously I'm wearing my headphones, so I couldn't make it happen. But I need to get a
No,
crew neck for sure because I love
no.
your merch so much. But
Oh,
I'm so
well,
happy.
there could be some new merch coming soon. I'm just
Maybe.
saying. So not that just screams like, hey, this is a book club, but I do have a few other things planned. So hopefully everyone's excited for that. But yeah, let's just go ahead and introduce ourselves. I'll have Gwen go first, and she is the guest of honor.
Hello, everybody. I'm Gwen, Jesse's best friend. If you didn't know, just throwing it out there. My channel is Gwendolyn Hensinger, and my Instagram is linked. No, this way, right there at Lavender Mud is where you can find my bookstagram. I also have a podcast called Talk Bookish to Me, and yeah, I'm just really happy to be here. Riley Sager is like my favorite thriller author, so very excited.
Yeah. Speaking of your podcast, I do have some links down below, including her podcast, her channel, her Instagram, all that stuff. But there are there's two episodes that one that me and her have done, which was super exciting last summer. And then she actually just posted one today. It actually went live. Do you want to talk about the two Riley Sager episodes? I keep saying
sure. I know you're so used to like YouTube stuff, but yeah. So the first one that Jesse probably linked is our discussion of The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. We both love Riley Sager, so I invited her onto my podcast and we did a full book discussion of that. So it's basically exactly what you're getting tonight, but in podcast form for a different Riley Sager. And then the second episode that is linked is one that I did with Summer from Seasons Readings. We talked about Riley Sager, all of his books, what we thought, which ones we recommend, which ones are our favorite, least favorite, which one has the best cover design, all of the things. So if you haven't read all of his books and you want to know where to start, which ones we recommend and so forth, definitely check that out. But I think both episodes are so good. So
yeah.
Everybody always tells me the discussion that I did with you was like one of their favorite episodes, and I'm like, it was just so much fun. So yeah. It's one of my favorites too.
I mean, not because I was on it, but that's honestly one of my favorite episodes from the podcast, because it was just like, it was a very highly anticipated book, and we had multiple thoughts about this book. So.
We did. We really did.
So definitely go check out the podcast, because not only is there like Riley Sager content, but like she covers everything. Every time she posts like a new episode, I'm like, how and why does she come up with all these ideas?
Yeah, a lot of people like maybe wondering like why I don't do a lot of recommendation videos like on YouTube. It's because I do them all over on my podcast and I don't cross content. So it's not like you're going to see something on YouTube and then go over to my podcast and see the same thing. I do completely different stuff over there, but it is all bookish. So
yeah, and it's really cool like seeing like different things like challenges on a podcast, because I know you and Keisha, which was super exciting.
Yeah, that book shopping challenge was so much fun. I did one last summer with Jordan from Sorry Book Solid, and then I did one this summer with Keisha from A Book Like You. So yeah, it's super fun over there.
Yeah, I love it. It's like the perfect thing to listen to as you're like driving to work, or just like, or doing your back deck like I did. That's when I listened to it this morning. So
yeah, super fun.
Yeah. Let us know in the comment section if you have read the book or if you haven't. And also, if you did read the book, let us know your star rating down below. I'll just post this so everyone knows, but we'll go through the comments real quick and then we will start the book discussion. Well, I guess I can't post that. Hang on. Let me make it scroll across the bottom. There we go.
Banner. Yeah, there we go.
But Keisha's here. Speaking of her, sorry you've had a Monday, but you're here to chat about this book tonight and hang out. And Keisha also won my free copy of this book, so you're welcome. Hello, so excited to chat about this book. Thanks for hosting the live show. Of course. Super. I've been waiting all month for this.
I know, because we read it so early too.
We did. We did like live reading sprints with not just me and her, but also like some other friends on here. And it was so well, wait, someone didn't read it on, was it you?
No, I did read it on here. I don't think that Jordan could be here because she was still in the process of moving, but Summer and Lena were here.
Yes, that's right. I was like, someone wasn't able to read it for some reason.
Yeah.
But
I was definitely reading it.
Sandra's here.
Hey,
Thank you for being here. Brandon's here. Brandon, I have a lot of your, no, just kidding. Can't wait to hear your thoughts about this book. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it is him.
Is he Brand the Reader?
Yeah, I think on Discord.
Okay, then Brandon, I do have a lot of your questions.
I think.
Pretty sure.
Totally wrong.
We'll have to let us know. Let's see. Excited to hear
Rachel.
Oh yeah. Did she change her profile photo? It looks different. I didn't even recognize her. Also going back to Brandon, if he is the one that submitted the questions on Discord, I do have a Discord for every month's live show where you can submit your questions for me and my guests to like go over. So if you want to see your questions answered, that's where I do them.
Also, I want to say on your Discord, she has a spot that you can drop books that you would like to see for future months picks. So start putting your books for 2024 because I'm like, here's a book that I need you guys to discuss. So
yeah, I feel like January is going to be really hard to pick because there's so many books for January. So hello.
Oh my goodness, a long time no see.
I was literally thinking the same thing. I was like, where have you been? Can't wait to discuss this book. Us too. Gabby's here. So exciting. Naomi's here. Lena's here. Excited to discuss with everyone tonight. Me too. Hubby bought me a Nintendo Switch for an early birthday. Well, happy early birthday. So glad you're here. What are you playing? Let us know. 5 out of 5 stars for me. Favorite Riley Sager by far. Ooh, interesting. Listen to the new podcast episode today. So excited. I loved this book. Gave this book 5 stars and loved it. So Summer's here. We were just talking about your episode. Read it and gave it 5 stars from Sandra. Summer gave it 4 stars. Gave it 5 stars and loved it. Another 5 stars. Keisha gave it 5 stars. A 4.5. 4. Wow, I love this. Love that Riley Sager redeemed himself this year. I gave 4 stars. Yes, I completely agree without giving my rating or thoughts away. But yes, I definitely feel like he redeemed himself this year. Let's see. 5 stars, hands down my favorite of his most recent 3 books. Okay. 4 stars. Megan's here.
First 5 stars.
Ooh, interesting. I'm curious to know which ones you've read by him. Sweet. And that is I thought it was, but then I was just like, wait, no, it isn't.
Maybe.
I did change my
profile
pic recently. Okay, so I wasn't making that up. Okay. Life adulting, Miss Jaw. We've missed you. 5 stars for me. Loved it. 5 stars. At the November book club pick isn't Lucinda Berry.
Okay, I'm just saying though, Lena, Jessie doesn't pick the books. So
that is true.
Jessie doesn't pick them. She lets her guests pick them. So
yeah. Also, if it comes out in November, I want to make sure people have enough time to get the book. So I always don't do it the same month too, but we will see. I do have December and November's co-host picked. I'm just still kind of coordinating October, and then September is going to be really exciting. I'm so excited. Where's the comment? Okay. Lena gave it 4 stars. 4.5. Love that.
I'm
5
waiting
star.
for like a 2-star or like a
I
1-star because like everybody is loving it.
Which is weird. I was on someone else's book club for the exact same book, and it was all across the board. It was like 1 star to like 5 stars. I was like,
I know. I'm like, I really want it to be like a debate. I want people to ask me the hard questions.
right, exactly. Favorite Riley Sager in so long. Out of all the Riley Sager's books I've read.
Okay, there we go.
Okay,
but still,
you asked for it.
The weakest and 3 stars.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I've read all of his books. Home Before Dark was a 4.5 and could maybe be a 5-star after a reread. I actually want to read. So after listening to you and Summer's podcast episode, I kind of want to reread Home Before Dark because I just love that book so much.
I know, me too. I want to reread it, but I stand by my thoughts on that book. Even Summer knows now. I was like, okay, Summer, I have to tell you the tea off air. We were laughing so hard about it. I wanted to keep it in, but it's a huge spoiler. So I was like, I can't. But I wanted to so bad. Editing it back was like epic.
D said 4 stars.
I do. Bring it. I'm always defending Riley Sager. Like,
this is more of a mystery than a thriller. Okay, interesting. Never read Home Before Dark, so I'm also going to read.
You have to, Sandra. It is a must. Put it on your fall TBR. You have to.
Yes, it is. I would say
Queen Night Owl to her minions. You must.
I feel like it's perfect for October.
It is. You have to, Sandra. You have to. If you don't have a copy, I will send you a copy. You have to.
Yes, it's hands down my favorite Riley Sager. So, let's see. I'm super with energy tonight.
Always.
Okay, Gwen, I have tomorrow, and tomorrow too.
You know what? You should just like read them, and you should make a little like vlog on your Instagram reading Gwen's favorite books. And My Murder, that's 3 books. Sandra, you should just make a little video on your Instagram.
Well, Gwen and I actually have a little something
a little activity.
Yeah, a little activity, and it's mostly going to involve y'all in the comments. So we'll get to that in just a second. Home Before Dark is my favorite from him. I need to dedicate a Gwen month of recommendations, the best.
Yes.
Lots of love. So Sleep When I'm Dead, unofficial book club pick for October is now Home Before Dark.
Yes, it's a buddy read. It's a buddy read, but it's not the official pick.
It's the unofficial pick, buddy read. Yeah, exactly. Because it's so good. But yeah. Okay. So like I said, Gwen and I have a small little activity.
We already did the activity. Now it's you guys' turn.
There we go. I was like, how do I get the thing off? Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. So I thought, because I do know when this book came out, there was multiple thoughts and feelings about the cover, how like the font is different and things like that. So at the literal last minute, I asked Gwen yesterday to be
last night she asked me.
I asked her, I said, how would you feel about redesigning the cover? And I got this inspiration from Kayla from Books and Lala. I think she did a whole video where she like redid books that she's read, or like a vlog. So I totally took that inspiration, but we came up with our own official redesign of the cover. So we're not going to say whose is whose, but we would love for you to pick which cover you like the most and whose you think is whose, basically. So in like no particular order, I'm just going to pick whichever one I have up at the current moment. But here is option 1 for the book cover. So different colors. You have a
different
font, little bit of, that clipped edge of the mansion. And then we also have another one. Let me switch it over. Did it switch? No, just kidding.
Not yet.
There we go. So then we have this one that kind of stuck to the colors. Again, a creepy house on cliffs. So yeah, let us know which one you think is whose. So this is option 2. And then going back to this one is option number 1. I wish there was a way I could put both of them up at the same time. I wonder if I can. Oops. Okay, just kidding. So comment down below if you think this is mine or Gwen's. And then going back
to that option number 1 or number 2? That's option 1, right?
Yes. Option number 1 is this one, and option number 2 is this one. So comment down below, and also let us know if you think we did a great job or a bad job. We'll try not to get
too offended.
Yeah, too offended. Let's see. I think that's for the buddy pick. Can't wait to see these. Fun. They think it's amazing. I'm going to switch back to the other one real quick. I feel like that one is Jesse's. I feel like that one's Gwen's. Now I'm stumped. I think the first one is Jesse's and the second one is Gwen's. Option 1 is Gwen's. Option 2 is Jess. First one is Jesse's. Second one is Gwen's. I think the second one is Gwen's. Option 1 is Jess. 2 is Gwen. Same thing. Okay, same thing. You love both. Okay, everyone seems to think mine, or this one right here, is mine, which is interesting.
Yeah. I'm like, what's happening?
I switched to the other one. Same thing. Thank you. You'll have to let us know which one's your favorite too.
Okay.
Don't worry about hurting our feelings or anything.
Yeah. We're besties.
Angel
this isn't going to hurt our feelings.
No. Angel thinks the first one is yours and this one's mine. These are great. My fave is option 1 for the originality. Both were good though. I think
she said her favorite is number 1 and she thinks it's mine.
It's yours. Okay. Both great. Riley Sager, hire these ladies. First one is Gwen's, 2 is Jesse's, 1 is Jess. And then I love these both. These are my favorite, or the first one's my favorite, and number 2 is my favorite. Okay. Should we reveal?
Yeah, go back to option number 1 first. All right. I'll reveal whose it is.
Okay.
All right. So option number 1 is Jessie.
Nice. Oh my God.
And we actually did not show each other these before, like right before the live, we finally, I shared mine with hers. So
yeah, she sent me the photo and I was like,
and I thought hers was so good too. So yay.
Yeah, I loved how you kind of tied yours in to like
the colors.
And I love that like pattern in the background.
Yes. You know why I got the inspiration is like her room was like antique. And I was thinking like antique wallpaper, how it has that like paisley kind of print or whatever. I was like, how cool is that? And I was trying not to go with the house, but I was like, I literally have to do a house.
See, I like that wallpaper detail because it reminds me of the Bartholomew because she thought like she could see faces in the patterns and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I think you did an amazing job on this.
And I love yours because you had like the typewriter kind of font a little bit. And I like that it's totally different than the original. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I like how the house is like more on the left side. So I love it.
Yeah, I was
trying to crushed it.
And honestly, hot take, I'm not like a fan of the colors. I love this blue though, but like I'm not a big fan of like the main colors of this one. So I wanted to go with yellow. So because he doesn't have a yellow option so far. But yeah. I forgot where we left off. Hire these ladies, more guessing, love these both. The first one's my favorite. Oh, well, thank you. 2 is my favorite. Laughing faces reminds me of wallpaper. I voted that you did
do this every month. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see if the co-hosts in the future are up for that, because I feel like Gwen would be the only person I'd be like, hey, you have like 24 hours to like design. Thanks.
I was like, sure.
I knew that one was Gwen simply because of the back to school look on Gwen. I think
I honestly think I've done so, especially if you're one of my patrons though, because I do graphics all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I have such a distinctive style. Like people that were saying number 1 was mine. I was like, no, never.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not that it's not good, it's great. It's just that my style, I could never pull that off.
Right. Exactly. Because the second one looked more cartoonish and Gwen likes comics. It. Nice.
Perfect.
Well, thank you for partaking in my chaos.
That was so fun.
It was. I loved doing that. And I love doing those games, but I hate like making people suffer. So I knew you wouldn't mind.
I'm always down.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into the official book discussion. Again, I do have links to everything, including Gwen stuff, book stuff, the Discord, all in the description. But Gwen, would you like to give a brief synopsis of this book for anyone who has not read this book and is in the comments?
Sure. So the only one left is, I'm going to say it's a thriller. It's a gothic thriller suspense, I'm going to say.
I agree.
And with the gothic, I mean that it's not super fast paced. It's pretty slow paced actually, which is a hallmark of gothic books. But so gothic thriller suspense about a woman who takes a job caring for an elderly woman named Lenora Hope, who is infamous because she killed her entire family. Her mother, her father, and her sister. So she was accused of these murders years ago. And now she's elderly, and due to medical reasons, she needs a caretaker. And our main character goes there to take care of her. And crazy things happen from there.
Perfect. This is also described as like, was it like a Lizzie Borden like massacre?
Mm-hmm. With killing her whole family. Yeah.
I was not familiar with that until after reading this, and then I did like some light research on that. So very interesting that it was compared to that. So I like it.
Yeah, Lizzie Borden was also like killed her whole family. So that's the comparison.
Gotcha. All right. So I usually let my co-host pick the books, like Gwen has mentioned before. And I think the reason why she picked this one is hilarious. Do you want to tell the story of why you picked this one, or how everything?
Well, I mean, like I said, me and Jessie are best friends. So I know she has a book club, and I'm like, hey, Jessie, new Riley Sager's coming. You know what that means. I have July. I mean, he's my favorite thriller author. Like, I love talking about my favorite authors with my favorite people. So I was like, we have to do this book. And she was like, all right, let's do it. So like I said, he's an auto buy for me. We both love him. We did the podcast together, and I was like, oh, we have to continue this trend. So yes. I think we'll always be discussing all the Riley Sagers. Always.
Of course. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. She was like, I will do it if we do this book. And I was like, okay, perfect.
Yeah. Only this book.
Only this book. Okay. So how would you describe this book only using 3 words?
Atmospheric, gothic, and suspenseful.
Perfect. And for those in the comment section, feel free to put your own answers for all of these in the comment section. We'll kind of go over all of them. But for me, I kind of put 3 words. I feel like I use ominous in every book club discussion, but this was very ominous. I also put unsettling, and I put haunting in a way, but not like haunted house, but like very
haunting is a good one.
I loved that. That was the first word I thought of when I was coming up with these 3. So let us know what 3 words you would use. Gabby agrees with you, Gwen. Let's see. I don't like that it does this. Hang on. Why? There we go. Maybe. Okay. I don't know why it doesn't want to scroll. So we have Sandra with creepy, sinister, and spooky. Twisty, very shocking. Ooh, haunted is a good word to pick. Well, thank you. Thank you. Feel free to keep putting your words in the description or in the chat. I feel like this one definitely had a few triggers. Is there any triggers that you feel are important for those who are interested in picking up this book?
So this is not a complete list because I can't, do content warnings for everybody because I don't know what you need warnings for. But suicide, murder, mental illness, and violence were the 4 that I think generally cover most things. Most things like murder are going to be in like books like this, but I still think it's worth noting. There's some other things like maybe like toxic family relationships, things like that. But some things I think are obvious, like in thriller books, but suicide, murder, mental illness, violence are the big ones.
Agreed. Yeah, the only one I saw your answers, and the only one I could think of is like loss of a loved one or someone that you took care of type of thing. Atmospheric, haunted, and Verity. I love it, Hannah. Ominous, historic, and exaggerated. Okay. Secret, atmospheric, and twisty. Love it. So yeah, great triggers. So we will go ahead and jump. I'm not going like there's no like spoiler free section versus a spoiler section. So here on out, we are free to like talk about any other spoilers. So you've been warned. But I think this is a great question. And Lena always asks it every year. And that is, what book would you recommend for people who liked The Only One Left? And what books would you recommend for those who did not like The Only One Left?
Okay, so for those who enjoyed it, I would recommend another Riley Sager, Home Before Dark, which we've kind of already talked about, because it also has like a creepy house. And it also is like similar writing. So if you like this, you'll probably like that one if you haven't read it. I would also recommend Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney because it also has a house on a cliff. It's also a thriller. And like, I feel like Alice Feeney and Riley Sager have similar writing styles. So that's what I came up with for if you like it, read these also. If you do not like this book, which the lowest we had was like a 3 stars, but maybe someone will watch it back that just really did not like it. I would try Lisa Jewell books, specifically maybe try her new book. None of This Is True, because she's like a British thriller author. She's also like a female and Riley Sager's a male. And I feel like she has a very different vibe than Riley Sager does. So maybe just try something like completely different like that.
Yeah. I agree with the Lisa Jewell one because like she does have like really good twists, but they're not as like dark and sinister as.
And I feel like there's not many. There's like mainly like one twist.
Yes, agreed. Because this one will definitely make your head spin a little bit. Yeah. For me, I didn't really have a recommendation if you did not like this book because I don't know why you wouldn't like this book, but everyone has their own opinion. But I also said Home Before Dark because obviously if you want to read another Riley Sager, Home Before Dark would be my next pick. I also recommend Verity if you like taking care of someone who has like a dark past or you're discovering the truth about someone like that. And then I also put Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. For one, as like having like a creepy setting because this is like an isolated, snowed in church that's been turned into an Airbnb. But also the letters corresponding with like Lenora writing
the typewriter story.
Yeah, the typewriters and stuff like that. So
good recommendation.
Well, thank you. Let's see. Keisha recommended Verity, Daisy Darker, and Home Before Dark. Daisy Darker is such a good one. Ruth Ware, Turn of the Key. That's a good recommendation.
Yeah, that is a good one.
I mean, not my personal favorite, but
One of my faves.
Whatever. Me and Ruth Ware just don't get along.
You don't.
But that might be another one where if you did not like this one, maybe Ruth Ware books would be something to compare, to recommend. That's a good one. Alrighty, so let's get into the pacing. What did you think of the pacing? Did you think it was slow, medium, or fast?
Yes, I am not used to Riley Sager's books being slow paced, but knowing that this was like Gothic inspired and stuff like that, I knew it was going to be a little bit more slower paced. And I didn't think it was like snail's pace. It was just slower for him, like, because I've read all of his books. So it was slower for him, but knowing that it was Gothic inspired and stuff like that, I was expecting a slower pace. I think that the ending, it definitely ramped up and had your head spinning a little bit. So start slow and then ramps up to fast. I don't know.
Yeah, that's good. I didn't really think, sorry, a spam caller is trying to call me. Go away. I didn't think that it was slow, but I can see where you may think it was a little bit slower. I felt like it was medium pace, and then it kept picking up and picking up and picking up. And I also think the reason why I did not think it was slower pace is because we were switching like present timeline to Lenora's chapters of her book.
Didn't think it was like necessarily so. I think it was just like from what I'm used to from him.
Yes.
I would consider it like slow. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. The pacing was good because of the breaks and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I feel like that's another good reason for, if you liked this one, you should read Home Before Dark, because you're going to get the same kind of pacing setup format as.
Yeah, because you get her father's book in between the chapters and stuff like that.
Exactly. Let's see. Lucy Foley, The Guest List, because of the atmosphere. That's a good recommendation. I enjoyed the pace. It had a good rhythm. Yes. I felt like the pace was medium at time, and I agree it's different than his norm, but it worked. He redeemed himself. That's why. Pace was good. Never felt bored. I always think it's impressive when a book is slower paced, but keeps me immersed and invested. Yes, exactly. Agreed. That's probably why I didn't think it was slow. But yes, the ending was quick. I agree. Thought the pace was a bit slower in the beginning, but I personally didn't mind because he was building the atmosphere, characters, intrigue. I agree with Jesse said basically, yeah. Also, I never got bored. I've read it in over 2 days. Perfect. Okay. So moving on, I feel like this is a great question. And we've also personally done a podcast episode on this, but did you feel like it was character driven or more plot driven?
I want to hear your answer for this one first.
Okay. So I would say initially reading it, I would say plot driven, but now that it sat with me a little bit more, I feel like it just depends on whose point of view you're reading it from. Because I feel like in the present with Kit's chapters, it's plot driven, but then Lenora's chapters are more character driven, but also I can see hers being more plot driven as well, because you're slowly seeing what happened.
Yeah. My answer was, I think it can be argued either way. Like I literally wrote that. I think it could be argued either way, because I think I got a really good sense of the characters, especially with the past timeline and stuff like that. But I also thought that the plot was really strong as well. So I do think this one was really well balanced.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, let's see what everyone else said. Because I was like, man, like you said, it could be either way, but I feel like I would say 75% plot, 25% character, but mostly the character driven part is through Lenora.
Yeah.
So
yeah, when you asked that question, I was like, what am I going to say for this? And I was like, I think I could argue it either way. So you told me to go with one and I could argue it.
The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield.
Yeah. Yes. Maybe another recommendation.
Brandon thinks character driven, but I could see it being a balance. Nice. Lena also thought it was character driven. I think it was a good mix of both. perfect.
I think it's both. Yeah.
He did a really good job with Kit and Lenora's chapters while keeping the plot interesting, with Mary being missing, finding out. Yeah, that was another thing. Like, I feel bad for Mary because I forgot she existed half the damn book. And I was like, oh yeah, we're curious what happened to this girl. But yeah, finding out more about Lenora, etc. I feel like it was more plot because it was slow to get the character storyline, explaining why.
See, you could argue either way for this one. And that's why I think it was so masterfully done, is because if you like characters, you're going to get strong characters. If you like plot, you're going to get a plot. So
exactly. Next question is, this book is told in both past and present timelines. The past with Lenora before the event, and the present with Kit. Did you like this format, and did you prefer one over the other as far as like point of view?
I think you said earlier, like, it definitely kept it interesting having like both, because I think it needed both. And I loved the typewriter chapters. I just loved it.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the typewriter, like the thought of like having this creepy old ominous typewriter definitely made it a little bit more interesting. So yeah, I love I love a book within a book. I love like past and present like chapters. Like I love those breaks. So yeah, this one worked out really well for me. I personally felt like at first I liked Kit's chapters first, because I was like, I don't care what Lenora has to say. I want to know what happened. And you're getting all this backstory, which makes total sense now of like why you're getting this. So I kind of flip-flopped at the halfway point. I was like, okay, I'm seeing why we're getting more. So yes. Let's see. Where did I leave off? Whose perspectives you're looking at. I had to think of real hard who Mary was. Like, yeah, no one cares about Mary.
Oh, you guys are so mean.
Keisha enjoyed both. Sandra loved the format because it worked. I liked both, and both were needed. Agreed. Love the format. I'm a nerd for books within books. They keep me turning the pages. Agreed. That's like my favorite thing to have in a book. I know some people don't like that, but I usually end up preferring one timeline over the other. But with this book, I enjoyed both.
Same.
Also enjoy Kit as a main character. I agree. I feel like out of all of his other like female main characters, I feel like I liked Kit the most, because there's that whole controversy of like him writing female characters.
Yeah, I feel like because she felt the most real. She didn't feel like she was the perfect person. Like nothing was like it. Everything that she was dealing with felt believable.
Yeah.
So
she was also dealing with like guilt and like her own flaws, which we'll get into later. Yeah. So I felt like because we knew like right up front,
or we knew something was going on.
Yeah, we knew like
she had like lost her job, and then like or had a break, and then came back to her job, and then they sent her to Lenora Hope. I mean,
yeah, as like her only kind of like as a punishment in a way.
Yeah.
So I like that she was a flawed character, and we knew that she wasn't just like some hopeless damsel in distress type of thing. So like the typewriter chapter's the best. Two of my favorite things: dual timelines and book within a book. Jennifer McMahon does this format in all of her books. Loved her. I guess we need to read The Winter People. Make Keisha happy.
How much am I being paid?
She's going to come for us for that one.
I know she is. I know.
Let's see. Okay, so we went over the format. I think one element of this book that stuck out the most is the setting. How would you describe the setting, and what are your thoughts on it? This also takes place in the 80s. Did you have any opinions on that?
Okay, I want to start with it being set in the 80s. If I'm being real, this book needed way more 80s vibes. The only thing I remember is she was talking about Duran Duran, like a tape deck or something in her car or something like that.
Mhm.
That's literally the only thing I remember being like referenced, which I know works for a lot of people because I know people don't like a lot of pop culture references, but I didn't get
Mhm.
any 80s vibes. And I feel like he said it during the 80s to rule out modern conveniences,
Mhm.
like cell
Mhm.
phones, like being able
Mhm.
to Google something on your phone. Like, I just feel like he used it so he didn't have to explain certain things or he didn't have to make it like harder. He did it so he didn't have to, it would have been harder to write, I feel like,
Mhm.
um, also just like with the whole Mary missing thing, like why don't we just like look her up and see if she got like a plane ticket or this, that, and the other
Mhm.
thing. So I think it did not feel 80s. It could have been any time period, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But the setting of the house itself was immaculate. Like
I agree.
freaking loved it so much. The leaning into the ocean, Gothic
Yes.
mansion on the cliff, crumbling marble, cracks in
Mhm.
the wall. I loved that. The
Yeah.
wicker wheelchair, the typewriter. I could just like picture the dusty velvet furniture in Lenora's room, or shall we
Mhm.
say Virginia, but whatever. But
Exactly.
I loved it.
Yeah. So for the 80s, I felt like, I don't know, first few chapters, I was like, okay, 80s. But then like halfway through, I was like, oh yeah, this is supposed to be in the 80s. Is
Yeah.
it? Like honestly, like you said, it could have been set in any time period. I would never have known. So yeah, I feel like I should have gotten a little bit more 80s vibes. But oh well. But like you said, the setting of the Gothic mansion and the fact that it was leaning, like when I was reading that, I was like, what is this safe? Like, what in the world?
I know.
Like,
I
I
guess if
love
you've ever been like in a lot of houses, like on an ocean cliff, they
it.
literally
Mhm.
do lean. So, but
What?
yeah, I could feel it when I was reading it. And he brought it up multiple times to remind you, in case you forgot, it was leaning.
But yeah, like I could picture like when you would enter a room, I can like see it visually in my head as well. And I just loved that so much. I also, this isn't really like a setting thing, but I think it may go back to the 80s. But I loved that everyone that worked at the house had like a uniform.
Yes, I
It wasn't,
loved it.
yeah, like you can totally tell like these were like richy
Rich
people
people.
that wanted to stick with the times and that, or not with current times, but like past times. So I
Yeah.
loved that. Keisha said not to bring it up. Ripped my heart out and stomped on it about the Jennifer McMahon book. I feel like if I ever ask Keisha to like do a book club pick with me again, she's gonna be like, "We're reading Jennifer McMahon," and the host gets to pick. I could relate to Kit as a caregiver. I think they really helped me connect with her as the main character. Perfect. Less annoying than most Sager's main characters. Agreed. Didn't really have 80s vibes. I could have been set anywhere. Agreed. Yes, more 80 vibes. I forget it was even set in the 80s. Um, they also talked about jazzercise and leg warmers at the beginning.
Totally missed that.
Yeah. I feel like would not have been important. I felt like it was just kind of to remind people that was in the 80s,
And
but
I feel like his other books kind of got like Survive the Night, for example, got a lot
mhm,
of flack because it had a lot of pop culture references in it. So maybe he just
mhm.
hasn't found the balance yet. And that's okay. But he did not hit it then. He didn't hit it now. He's still working on it. It's fine.
Yeah. But this one was better in my opinion. I feel like it could have been
Yes.
tough sometimes because they either have too many references or so. Yep, like Gwen said. Totally agree. Could have been set anywhere. Agree with Brandon. Love the setting. Totally agree with Gwen. I think he
Yeah.
used the 80s as a bit of a background for the plot, like lack of tech.
Right.
Description That was great. I agree. Could picture the setting perfectly and loved it. The gate, I also was going to mention that as well, but forgot. But yeah, the gate to like enter the property, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like the 80s vibes in this book were like how I felt with Willowbrook, because the atmosphere, you didn't need too much historical references. It kind of just could have been taking place at any time. Agreed.
And
Creepy
even
house.
how the other people were described, like the house, like she's talking on page 24, like a pair of cat eye glasses hangs from a chain around the woman's neck and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. It was just, when she first goes to the house is when it's like the best.
Agreed. It kind of reminds me of like when I read Malice House at first, when we got to see like, because that was like in a coastal town as well. Kind of gave me those like ominous house vibes. Creepy house on the hill vibes were definitely there though. Chef's kiss, top tier perfection. The Leaning Tower of Hope. I love it. I love the setting. I could hear the creaks in the floor when someone coughed. Virginia walking in her room laugh out loud. I actually just recommended a book in Discord and said if you pick it, I'll have to be the co-host, not Jennifer McMahon. Ooh, I'll have to go back and check on that. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. I'll hold you to that, Keisha. Okay. I thought this was a really cool answer, and Brandon actually submitted this one. But which would you rather spend the night in? The Bartholomew from Lock Every Door or Hope's End?
If it's still standing, I'm going to go with Hope's End.
And why would you pick Hope's End over the bar?
Okay, first of all, I did not like Lock Every Door as much as other people did. And I love coastal settings. I'm a beach girly. I love mansions. I love antiques. I love exploring. It's got to be Hope's End.
Interesting, because I actually picked the Bartholomew.
Why?
Because I don't know, like for one, the building probably doesn't lean. For one, I feel like because that does have like, celebrities that live in that home. Like I would actually like to go see the author of, I forgot what the book inside Lock Every Door is, but the author that like wrote about the Bartholomew and stuff. Like, I don't know. I just feel like that would be like.
But imagine seeing Hope's End in its heyday. Before it was like a crumbling mansion.
Yeah, but would I be walking up the staircase and be like, oh gosh.
No, before it was a crumbling mansion.
Oh, okay. So like before the event?
Before the event.
Oh, okay. Now we're talking like early 1900s.
Yeah, like Flapper days. Oh my gosh. That would be so freaking fun.
Okay. It before people got murdered.
Imagine the Great Gatsby vibes that were happening at the seaside mansion. You can know.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I would pick Hope's End before people got murdered. So let us know which one you would pick.
But also, what was happening at the Bartholomew? Like only the family got murdered. Nobody else got murdered. What was it? We can't say, but what was going on at the Bartholomew? I am not happening. No. There's some strange happenings there, ma'am.
Agreed. But I don't know.
You have servants at Hope's End. Servants. People to wait.
But they're weird as well.
But at least I would have a chef.
Okay. Taken there. So while I look at other people's comments, this is not on the list, but I know sometimes like people have noticed like small Easter eggs. Did you see any Easter eggs related to his other ones? I personally didn't. I didn't know if anyone else saw
really. That. But I did see the Jaws thing that he mentioned, the movie Jaws in here.
Yeah.
And that's one of his favorite movies, Riley Sager's favorite movie. So he mentioned Jaws in here, and I was like, okay, I see you talking about your favorite movie. That's the only really like Easter egg that I caught. But I don't ever look for Easter eggs. Like maybe I should. Unless they're like super obvious.
Yeah, I know Lena actually pointed one out to me and I was like, wait a minute. Like the Bartholomew was mentioned in one of his other books. I think it was
It was the house across the lake.
It was the house across the lake? Okay, yeah. Because I remember I had to go back and look for it. And I was like, wait a minute. Speaking of Lena, she picks Hope in. I know the crap that goes on at the market.
No, thank you.
I'd have to go with the hotel. At least that thing isn't falling over.
I've been in houses that are like actually leaning. It's not like it's leaning, like it's literally, I mean, now this one's leaning a little bit far, okay, y'all? But it's like being on a cruise ship that's going in rough waters. Like,
yeah, I didn't like that.
I don't know. I just love the ocean so much, and people made it out safely. So I feel like I could make it out safely.
Hope's in basically what Gwen said. Hope's in. I didn't like lock every door as much. Okay. I agree with Gwen. I wouldn't want to get caught up in what's going on. Okay. Didn't love lock every door as much as everyone else, but wouldn't want what's going on. Okay. I probably
you're in it for the celebrities, Jessie. That's valid. And you'd have your own place, your own apartment. So I get it.
You're also in like New York City. I feel like you can go places versus like, I don't know.
If I have a mansion on the cliff on the seaside, I don't need anywhere to go.
Angel said Hope's in. I probably wouldn't sleep. I'd need to stay awake in case it's falling into the sea so I could run out. If it was before, then yes, Hope's End. Agreed. Hope's End would be my choice. I didn't see any of this time. I think it's because this one happened before the other books. That is true.
Oh yeah, like in 1929. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Great question, Brandon. That was a really good one. I was so excited to put that one in there. Okay, let's go over the characters. Any characters stick out to you the most, or that you loved reading, or like point of view, or
just characters? Yeah, I agree with what Lena said. I liked Kit as a character. I liked that she was a caregiver. I also liked that she wasn't like she was hiding something. I liked that because I feel like that brought like a believability. I also felt that she was like dealing with her own grief. She was kind of like, I felt like her and Lenora / Virginia, I felt like they were kind of leading similar lives in a way. Like it was kind of like a little bit parallel, and I really liked that. Lenora and Virginia thing, I was very sus of Lenora, but I was also very fascinated by the story that she was like typing out and stuff like that. And I just like loved hearing like what went down back in the 1920s and stuff. Miss Baker was the biggest pain in my butt that I hated her from the beginning when she was like, yeah, you're going to put on this uniform. Like you're going to do it. And then like, I don't know, she was just like I just wanted to stab her, And then as far as like the other family members, like their mother and their father, like I really didn't care because they weren't like in the present timeline as well. So I really didn't care about them. I did like the chef though. I did like I don't know. Like a weird
noise.
Yeah.
Sounds normal to me.
I wonder if you hear it.
Let me check my phone. I did hear it like at first.
Like then when you're talking.
Oh, it does sound like an alien. That's so weird. Let's see.
Do you want me to see when I talk? It's fine.
Is it when I talk? Okay. I'll mute and you keep talking and I'll put headphones in.
Okay. I was like, no. Okay. Okay. Back to what I was saying about the characters. I loved the chef. He seemed like such a nice guy. He seemed like he really cared about Virginia, which I loved. Another character that I think could have totally been left out was the rando F boy, Kenny. I don't know why he had to be in there in the beginning. I don't know why he made his guest appearance later on when they like busted through to like go to the house. He just seemed kind of pointless. So yeah, that's all for the characters for me. So hopefully Jesse can figure it out, and hopefully I sound normal. Okay, I finished talking.
Do I sound better?
Why don't you disconnect and then come back?
Like leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi guys, I'm taking over the Sleep When I'm Dead book club. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys for bearing with the technology issues, but hopefully she'll be back.
How about now?
Yay!
Okay, cool.
I
was
like, takeover time.
I always get nervous like leaving the studio because I'm like, what if it like disconnects everything? So.
Yeah, but I was here. I was a good host. Okay, so back what I was saying, Kit, I liked her because she felt real. Lenora and Virginia, I was very sus of Lenora, but I was also fascinated by her story. Miss Baker, pain in the butt. The other hopes, like the mother and the father, I really didn't care. Like they weren't in the story like that much, but I do think her father was a piece of crap because of the whole baby thing. I did like the chef, and I don't know why we had to have Kenny, the little rando F boy, that was like in the beginning, and then he like made an appearance later on. Yeah, I don't understand why he had to be in there. It's like,
yeah, I kind of thought maybe he would have been like part of the story more because I was like, boy's kind of random, but
right,
whatever. I'll keep my eyes on you. Yeah, so I also wanted to point out before I start that Summer would choose the
bougie
hotel. I'm just saying. Or bougie.
Yeah.
Okay, characters. I loved, like I've said before, Kit was not a perfect person. She was dealing with her own stuff, one of it being like her last patient, aka her mother. She kind of had the guilt that she possibly may have had something to do with her mother, passing away. I love that we got to see like her dealing with Lenora as like seeing this person that is well known as a murderer and like, but yet you feel like a murderer yourself internally. So I loved that she related to Lenora, but was also still scared of her in a way. Lenora and Virginia, or each other. I was also suspicious of Lenora, but I was like, I feel like in the end, it truly wasn't Lenora. But it technically was because Lenora is Virginia. Virginia is Lenora, right? I get so confused. But I loved that twist. I would never have thought they like switched places. I thought Miss Baker was actually Virginia at parts. That's like one of my theories. And speaking of Miss Baker, I hated her. I was like, you were top of my radar, but I also feel like you're too easy of a suspect. But like, I don't like her at all. Hated the father because that dude was obviously horrible.
Like sleeping with the people that worked for him, made her get rid of her baby. Like,
horrible. Yeah,
disgusting.
Wow, their mother
deserved to die.
Yeah, I hate that. Other characters, I felt like other people that worked in the house were kind of like unnecessary at some times. I was just like, am I supposed to think you're like behind everything?
Yeah, I liked that Carter was a part of this story, but I'm also very glad it did not turn into a romance. I would have been so pissed.
Yes. So like I got him and the other male character mixed up.
Carter was the groundskeeper.
Was he the one that was trying to see if Lenora was his
grandmother. Yes.
Grandmother, excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But I kept getting him, and was it Archie was the other one?
Or it was hold on, I have it written down. Let me find. I
We'll
have like pages of notes, y'all. I have multiple pages of notes. Let me look. Oh, so the other groundskeeper from the past was Ricky.
Yes.
Dad.
Okay.
Yeah. Carter. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'm glad. I didn't think of that, but now that you've said it out loud, I am glad it's not a romance.
Yeah. I would have been so like about it.
Because it was not needed at all. And
That's glad why Kenny didn't need to be there.
Exactly. Kind of reminded me of, I forgot the character's name, but like the groundskeeper at Home Before Dark in a way, because I was like, is this going in that direction? So I won't say anything because I don't want to say anything. But okay. Loved Kit and Lenora, aka Virginia. They were the most interesting. We sound like robots. I liked Kit the best, and Lenora was just scary even after the twist. It was like,
why are you letting her stay with you? Well, see, it was interesting. I just think it was so interesting. I think she felt sorry for her still, and I think she understood like what she was going through and stuff. Aliens.
Y'all are funny. Okay, it's back to normal. Good. Yes, Kenny was so random and annoying. Agreed. He also seemed very immature because he was a lot younger than her.
Yeah,
right?
He was like 20 or like a teenager. Like it was just gross. I did not.
Totally forgot about Kenny. Kenny was just a hot boy. I don't know. I kind of picture him not being hot, like kind of like a pizza face in a way, in my opinion. But
pizza face doesn't bother me. But it was just he acted so immature. But it especially also like that was one thing that it made sense about Kit because it was like her not being perfect, her having a little F-boy on the side, like
yeah. But yeah, I thought he was immature, but then when he showed up at the house to like with
his friends and stuff, I was like, ew.
Yeah, it sounds like literally 15, 16-year-olds would do that.
Like a prank. Let's go to the Hope's End and like what were they gonna do? Like, ew.
Literally cried when it had the flashback to her last night with her mom. That hit me so hard, having an aging mother with chronic pain. All agreed. That was a very touching moment. Love that Lenora / Virginia and Kit were both morally ambiguous. Again, one of my favorite tropes.
Yeah.
Might have been the most hated character. Yeah, I would say she's my least favorite character out of all the books, in my opinion, or out of all of his books. Yeah. So she was just awful. Totally agree about the romance. Riley always seems to pair the main character with a guy.
I'm glad he didn't.
Yeah. So this was a bit fresh and not typical of him. I was thinking Magic Mike.
I love your mind, Sandra.
Oh no. Okay. So this question actually comes from Elise, from a Virgo Rising Reads on Discord and on YouTube and on Instagram. Who would you cast to play the main characters if this book was made into a movie or a TV show?
Okay, so for Kit, I don't know who I would get to play like Lenora, like past and present, Virginia, whatever, the main one. It's really Virginia, but they called her Lenora the whole time. I have no idea for her because I was trying to think I was trying to look for two actresses that could play that kind of looked similar. They could play like the younger version and then the older version. So I have no idea. But for Kit, her name is Alexandria Daddario. I don't know how to say her last name, but she's the one that's on the honeymoon in White Lotus. Her.
Right. Is she the one with like the super dark hair and the crystal clear blue eyes?
Yes.
Okay. Because she also played on oh my gosh. That movie she played in oh my gosh. San Andreas with The Rock. And she also played in
she would be a perfect Kit.
Okay. I can see it. That's a good one.
I was like, as soon as I was like, because I'm terrible with movie castings because I don't know like a lot of actresses and actors' names, and I don't really like keep up with that. But as soon as I was like, okay, casting for Kit, it has to go to her. Like it has to. Yay! Yes.
So for Kit, I actually put Anna Kendrick. I felt like she would be really good.
Okay.
And then for Lenora, I didn't have anyone for the past, but for the present, I put Meryl Streep.
Well, she can play anything. So of course Meryl Streep would do it.
Yeah. I mean, she would have the easiest lines to learn, but
But you know what? Honestly, having lines is easier than having to act without lines.
Really?
If you've ever taken an acting class, you know.
I really like this one. Brandon said Jessica Lange would be a good Lenora / Virginia. That would be perfect. You know who she is, right? Okay, cool. Because I love her. That's a perfect one. Jennifer Lawrence would be a good Kit. I would love to see that.
I don't know. I can't see anybody else's Kit. I'm sorry. My answer wins for this. You're not convincing me otherwise. Like in my head, she's literally cast as Kit. So Riley Sager, if this becomes a movie, you need to get her.
She was from the early seasons of American Horror Story. Yeah. Yep, I agree. Maybe Sarah Paulson. I could see her being Miss Baker in a way.
Yes, as Miss Baker. Oh my gosh. Yes. We've almost got this figured out. Baker, where are you? Why don't you answer your messages?
Elizabeth Moss for Kit would be a good one. I feel like Anna Kendrick is more like.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I can see that. Lenora, played by Angelina Jolie.
I love Angelina Jolie. I don't see her in this movie, but I do love her.
Mrs. Danvers from Rebecca. I haven't read or seen the movie, so
neither.
I'll agree with you.
Agree or disagree.
Elizabeth Olsen as a young Keisha.
Oh, okay.
That would be a good one. I love that Keisha. As the young Lenora, that would be a tough one. Yeah. All right. Time for the best one yet.
Okay.
Plot twist.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I don't even know where to start.
I know, there's just so much to cover on
Okay, and I don't know if I even actually covered it all, so I do have notes because there's a lot. Obviously, Riley Sager is known for his twists, and he's known for his multiple twists, so I was expecting like more than one twist at the end. There was a lot. Some I really liked, some I didn't. But I do want to preface this all with saying that something happened during this reading of the book that I'm going to try to avoid in the future. And that's theorizing. I can hear myself again. Can you mute? I can hear myself. I don't want to hear myself, Jessie. But I don't want to theorize about twists for thrillers with other people. I don't mind talking about them after the fact, but when I figure out because most thrillers I read now, if I try to figure out a twist, I feel like I'm going to figure it out. I've only read 5,000 thrillers. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like there's that many unique things that could happen. So I feel like if I go into a book trying to figure out what's going on, I'm going to figure out at least part of it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not all of it, but at least part of it. So most books, I don't do it unless it's like so obvious. And for Riley Sager, he's my favorite thriller author, like I've said a million times tonight. So I definitely do not try to theorize with his books. But me and my friends theorized together about this book. And they literally said one of the biggest twists, which was that Lenora was not Lenora, she was Virginia and all of that. And so I could not get that out of my head. And so for the whole time I was reading it, I was like, it was already like a foregone conclusion that that's what one of the twists was going to be. And I think that I would have not figured that out by myself. And so I feel like that kind of ruined that twist for me. And I think that was the best twist, in my opinion. So, but yeah, all of the twists are going to give you whiplash if you're not expecting them. So, but Lenora being Virginia and Miss Baker is actually Lenora. And then Mary being found dead. Obviously, she was going to be found dead. I never thought that she like went off on her own or anything like that. You don't leave behind literally all of your belongings and then you went home, or you would take your stuff with you. And then I was surprised about Virginia being pregnant and her father took the child away from her immediately. I guess you can't tarnish the family name. And that Lenora faked Virginia's death and then forced her to assume the Lenora identity. I also think it was interesting how the murders took place. And I don't want to like rehash everything, but that was from like page 352 to 356. It actually lays out like how all the killings went down. Also, the twist that nobody theorized, thank goodness, was that Kit's dad was like a bigger part of the story itself. That legitimately shocked me. And it wasn't until she like left the house and went back to her dad's house and you saw the bag on his bed or something. I was like, oh, what? So I really, really liked that. Let's see. But basically, Kit's dad was the one that got Virginia pregnant, and then he accepted payment to go away forever. And then he was the one that stabbed the mom, and he killed Mary because she kind of like figured things out. And then also that it was him that gave the pills to the mother. It wasn't Kit. The mom still took them willingly, but it wasn't like Kit left the medicine out or whatever that was. Let's see. I wasn't surprised by Virginia like being able to move and stuff, because ever since that Walkman turned off, I was like, the Walkmans don't do that. No, no, no. But I did think that was, I kind of like hedged on it a little bit, because when the Walkman happened, I was like, oh, she can move. She can move. But then she did the snow globe thing. Like the precious snow globe from Paris or whatever it was. And I was like, surely she's going to like flinch or something. I thought she would have reached for it when she didn't. I was just like, oh my gosh. And then let's see. Jessie being Kit's niece, that was an unnecessary twist in my opinion. Like I just did not care. Like I think it was enough to have them switch to Virginia and Lenora, the dad being in on it. I think that was really enough. But then like some of the other things were like, okay, we get it. You're the master of twists or whatever. So that one I think was unnecessary. But I think that's all I had.
So do I sound robotic? No? Okay, cool. Okay, I guess it's my turn to talk. So yeah, I totally agree with everything that you said. I did not think about the theory of Virginia being Lenora or Lenora actually being Virginia, however you want to word it. I did not see that coming, and it really did shock me. And I was like, wait a minute. But then I was like, how in the world did this happen? Because like, wouldn't people know? But I don't know. I loved the twist that it was actually Kit's dad, not only being tied into everything at Hope's End, but also that he was responsible, or like you said, not the main source of being like the one that killed the mother, but like he left the drugs out for the mother and stuff like that. So I loved that. I personally thought Jessie was behind a lot of stuff. I just felt like she just had that character. And like with her recording the audiobooks, I was like, what are you telling this woman? Like, what's going on? But like you said, I did not like the fact that she was somehow related to or Virginia, I guess you can say.
I forgot to say, wasn't she leaving secret messages in the audiobooks for her? I forgot that part, but yeah, she was doing that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I wish I would have known exactly what she was telling her though. Let's see. I was really I think it's Carter. The fact that he thought he could possibly be the son to Lenora, Virginia. I was kind of hoping he wasn't, because I was like, I just feel like everyone's just like one big happy family in this mansion, and I don't like it. I did like knowing that Mary, rest in peace, at the bottom of the cliff, was actually trying to like figure out more. Like, she was trying to figure out things along as well, and she actually went to Kit's dad to get like DNA and all this stuff, blah 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 blah. But yeah, I really enjoyed everything. I really don't have any feelings about like the very end when you find out that she really can move and walk all by herself. But I did like the tape record or the Walkman scene. So I was like, some's fishy. Some's fishy. So yeah, those were all the plot twists that really stuck out to me. Let's see. I think this is where I left off. It was a woozy. That twist. I feel like you had to try too hard to figure out. It would kind of ruin the reading experience. Yeah, just go along for the ride. I try not to guess the twist, but sometimes I'm always thinking of the twist,
and I never do, because I feel like if I do, I should probably do a vlog about that. Like, watch me guess the twist of all these thrillers, because I would guess them, I feel like.
Yeah, agree. That would be a really cool, interesting experience. Like, for a vlog video, that'd be really cool. But like, also, how would you like not give spoilers?
Anyway, well, I would just say this is theory, and I'll let you know if it's right or wrong if you don't want to hear about the spoilers for this book.
That's true. That's true. I always try to figure out the twist early on, but luckily for me, I don't ever figure out the twist. It's very rare. So, and I give myself a little pat on the back when I do. So, yeah. Oh no. Oh man. Super surprised that Virginia faked being disabled.
I feel like she would have to see her like flinch. Yeah. Something. I feel like,
it kind of goes back to the whole, like, well, I shouldn't say, because that might be a spoiler for another book, but it was mentioned earlier today about the same thing. But I didn't know how I felt about the end, and I know some people really didn't like her faking being disabled. I feel very neutral about that in a way.
Yeah.
For that long, the only twist I figured was that Virginia was not disabled and can walk. I mean, he gave us so many clues to figure that one out. Agree. I felt like he kept us like wondering if she could or not. I was convinced that the detective was involved somehow, especially.
I'm going to get to that later, Megan, actually.
Okay, cool. I forgot all about the detective, actually.
Yeah.
Him and Mary. Bless their sweet souls. I was shocked that Lenora, Virginia, how the murders happened, and Virginia faking the being paralyzed, basically. Yeah, agreed. So many twists, and the very end was disappointing to me. Oh, I'm sorry.
I also didn't feel like it had to be like where Virginia went to her house, and then, like you said, the big happy family, and then she went off and she did all these travels. Like, that didn't need to be in there.
No. I feel like it could have been very short, and maybe possibly see that she like walked away.
Yeah, like, okay, you walked away, you got out of there, great. You know.
Exactly. Yes, her dad being involved was the worst twist for me. I actually liked that part.
I liked that too.
Because I didn't see that happening, and I feel like not only was that a twist that he was involved, but also I felt like that was a twist with like Kit's dilemma.
Yeah.
Before getting the job.
Yeah.
So I really liked it. The freaking Walkman thing was so scary. I didn't like that she was faking the whole time. I would have preferred if she was being medicated by her sister. Ooh.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Mentioning that, since we're kind of on the topic, were there any theories that you had that like either happened or did not happen while you were reading it? So I wanted to go back to the one that talked about the Richard thing before. So there were two Richards, Richies, all of that. So there was Richard Vick, the detective that came to the house after Kit's mom died. And then there was also Ricardo Mayhew, the groundskeeper from the past, who went by Ricky. And like, I thought, before knowing who Ricky was and all of that, I thought that they were going to be the same person because even the detective said, I can hear myself again. I thought that they were going to be the same person because the detective even talked about how he was around back then. And I thought that he was going to be the person that was involved. So that was like a theory that I kind of had just because of the similarities in the names alone. So I was wondering if anybody else had any theories that like didn't happen or you thought would have been better, like Megan said, like that she wasn't paralyzed, she was being like medicated by her sister or something like that.
The only other theory that I had was that Miss Baker was actually Virginia and Lenora was actually Lenora, and that I don't know. There were so many different theories because, like, obviously, like she, like Virginia, supposedly was hung by a rope and stuff like that. And I also thought this mysterious Ricky person was the one that did everything, and it was. I did also think maybe he, like this Ricky person, was someone that was still working in the house, and like him and Mrs. Baker were like plotting and scheming. Because like there was the whole scene where like Mrs. Baker was like, like once she passes away, like I get this house, and that was like the motive behind everything. But yeah, I was just trying to go for the ride, but like I was also like theorizing so many multiple things. So yeah, if anyone else has any other theories, would love to hear that. I think it would have been better if Lenora was poisoning Virginia and making her paralyzed. Yep, exactly. Also agree. Did anyone else catch the continuous of the game? Lenora forced Virginia to stay in her room. Yes,
because the dad would do that to them, and then they did it again when they were both like younger, around like the time of the baby and all of that. And then she made her stay in there again. That was just wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also like, why didn't she just get up and go?
There would be no story. I didn't think of that, Kelly. Ominous. I always think of the twist, but I often feel like my predictions would be better than what actually happens. Okay. I don't know. I feel like I heard something about people can fake things for so long it becomes real. So it's so psychological they can make it seem real. Loved all the twists. No complaints here. Enjoyed the ending. Her not being disabled was far too obvious, especially after the tape. So that was lame. That was a lame twist. Like I said, sabotage would have been better. Agreed. So how do you feel about the mansion like falling at the end?
Epic.
Epic. I feel like I would have never seen that coming, but it like all kind of like ties in.
If it didn't, I would have been sad.
But I mean, I was like, well, it was leaning, so I should have seen that one coming. But that's one plot twist I wasn't seeing.
Yeah, and I also didn't want the real Lenora to get the home.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what she's like, I'm not leaving this house. Okay, bye, girl. You off the cliff you go. Because,
and then I think her dad went back in there too.
Yeah, Kit's dad and the real Lenora. They went off the cliff with them.
I feel like you have to be so petty to keep that lease up for 50 years. Petty. Yeah, the letter should have been cut during the editing. Come on, Riley. The two Richards was too much. Yeah,
They should have been the same person. Exactly.
That's what I thought too, Gwen. I thought the missing girl was hiding in the house somewhere, not dead. Could have been.
Oh, Mary.
Bless her sweet soul. I was worried it was not going to be. It was going to be the cook.
If it was the cook, I would have been sad because I kind of liked him, Archibald.
Yes. I did not like honestly, besides Jesse and Mrs. Baker, like everyone else, I was just like, I hope you're not important because I don't. Because you guys are boring me.
Well, you know me with my character list. That's like what one of these whole pages is a character list. This whole thing.
I just love that you take such great notes, and I'm just like, The mansion falling was very symbolic. Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed. I figured that thing was coming down. Anyone else yell timber when it came down? Just was the mansion falling cliche? Definitely. Did it work? Definitely. Love the falling mansion. When he talked about the book, he mentioned the mansion cracking more and more when Kit discovered something, and I was here for it. Can't watch tonight, but we'll come back for the replay. Well, thank you, Kelsey. Wanted to say and that I enjoyed this one. The house was my favorite character.
Yeah, it really was.
Didn't realize that Rachel, and I need a Gwen character list to keep up with the ending, but somehow it resolved.
I should like sell my character notes and stuff because.
Hey Jess, just got here. But I liked it and it was driving me crazy. Haha, all the plot twists. No worries. Okay. So I think we've already covered this, but were there any scenes that stuck with you the most or that you're still replaying in your head?
The first was when Kit initially goes up to the house for the first time and she says, like, Hope's End is a mess. And she starts describing it. I loved that. Because, like, from afar, she was like, oh my gosh, this mansion. And then when she got up close, she kind of saw, like, ooh, this place is crumbling, you know? And so I really like how she was describing it. And then when the house was crumbling and it was falling into the ocean, that was epic.
I put that the house crashing down, but also finding out that Kit's father had not only again with the past and everything, but like also
her mom.
Like I felt like
his wife.
Wife, yes. Different topic, but I wonder why Kit's dad was so distant with her when he knew she had nothing to do with her mom's death. Yeah, I just
really that line that he said like several times in the book. I probably underlined it somewhere where he would say like, "It's not your fault, Kit." Like, yeah, I was like, that's so lame. He should have just said. He should have told her. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I just thought he was just a bad dad, but apparently he was a bad person in life. In general. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad we keep you laughing. The scenes where they talk about Virginia like she's not even there makes me so angry. Like I was actually shaking. Multiple characters did it. My biggest pet peeve in caregiving profession. Yeah. I agree with that. Like I hate when people do that as well. This question was submitted. The scene question was actually submitted by Summer. So I do want to give her a shout out for that. But also, Brandon also asked, did you feel like there were too many twists or just enough? Like, what are your thoughts on all these twists and how they were?
Yeah, I love a multiple twist ending, like I said before, but I like when they're like purposeful and not added just to like ratchet up the twist count. Mm-hmm. Like I said before, did Jesse really have to be Kit's niece? No, that could have been left out. Like things like that. But I loved it. It was crazy. It was wild. I was on the roller coaster. I was in the front seat. I was loving it.
Also, like another theory I had, I forgot to mention this. So they said like Lenora had a baby boy. I was like, but did she? So that's why I thought Jesse was also somehow involved because she was like, I guess she was technically family, but yeah, I also didn't like that. Like you said, I love twist after twist after twist. Like I love having like whiplash from a good old plot twist. So I thought it was perfect enough. I thought I did hear some people say they didn't like that, but I personally love it.
Yeah.
Like, keep me like on my toes for the last.
Yeah. I feel like when you have multiple twists, if you figure out one, like I said, someone theorized for me about them being switched, Lenora and Virginia, at least I had other ones to look forward to. You know what I'm saying? So even if you do go into a book trying to figure out one, if it has multiple twists, maybe there will be something you didn't think of yourself. Right. So that's why I love the multiple twists.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed with Lena. Like they could have just gone to a different room. Exactly.
But I also think the reason why they didn't do that is they wanted you to hate those characters.
Yeah.
They were doing that.
And also, again, with it being set in the 80s, they probably didn't have the best like
knowledge about how to handle it. Right.
Yeah, exactly. The house is big enough. Just go in another room.
Exactly.
What did you think of the storyline with Archibald?
Yeah, they had a relationship.
Yeah.
That was fine, but I don't know what it added to the story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was like, I feel like that was just a tie in the cook for having a purpose.
Right.
But didn't really do anything for me. I was here for the twist whiplash as well. Yeah, I wish there was more loose ends. Not everything had to be perfectly wrapped up, leaving us to guess it a little bit. I like a little ambiguity. A little ambiguity is okay. Riley Sager doesn't seem to like ambiguity at all. Fair point. Fair point. Okay. So this is a very interesting question. This was also submitted by Lena. So where does this book fall into your rankings with Riley Sager?
It's kind of hard for me to do this because it's been a while since I've read some of those, because I usually read his books when they release. So it's been several years, but and the only one I've reread is The Last Time I Lied, which is my favorite. I think initial off the cuff ranking, I'm going to go like third or fourth.
Okay.
So cool. Like kind of right in the middle.
Okay.
What about for you?
Write mine down a little bit. So I am going to put this one. What did I write? Sorry. I put this comes in at number 4 for me as well. It's sandwiched in between Final Girls and Survive the Night. I would say Survive the Night I liked better. So we'll get into like our final star rating as well. But that's where it sandwiches in between.
Yeah, mine's probably The Last Time I Lied. I like Survive the Night, and I liked Home Before Dark better. Then maybe this one, but like Lock Every Door, The Final Girls, and The House Across the Lake are like at the bottom.
Yeah, the ones that I liked better than this one is Home Before Dark, The Last Time I Lied, and Survive the Night. And
Same.
So just different order.
See, this is why we did this.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments where this one falls for y'all. Imagine if it ended with just Virginia gone and no letter. It would have been interesting. Agreed. Probably my second favorite of his. Last Time I Lied is number 1. Favorite so far based on last year's book. I think this is my third favorite. I like Home Before Dark, Survive the Night, and Final Girls more. My favorites are The Only One Left, Home Before Dark, and The Last Time I Lied / Survive the Night.
Yay.
Okay. So this was a fun and interesting question from Summer, but which I would have never thought of this question. But if Jessie from the book could only record one book for you to listen to for the rest of your life, what would you pick?
You already know my answer.
I
wonder what they think I picked for my book. If you have a guess of what book I picked, I want them to guess what book they think I said. What did you say?
So for me,
wait, I want to guess.
Okay.
Did you say 11/22/63?
No.
Oh, I'm so intrigued. Okay, what did you get? What did you say?
So it doesn't say this would be the only audiobook I could listen to for the rest of my life.
It says could only record one book for you to listen to for the rest of your life.
Oh, well, I totally did not read that question. No. I would just physically read stuff for the rest of my life. But I think this would depend on if Jessie's a good audiobook narrator, honestly. Right? If she's like me, she's not a good speaker. But I think based on her personality, I think she would have done well doing a rom-com or like an Emily Henry, because she definitely has a very kind of big personality. So I would go with Beach Read out of the two. That way it's not like my favorite Emily Henry, but like not my least favorite. It's somewhere in the middle. So she can either mess it up or make it better.
Okay.
So guesses are in. Becca said this is her 4th. Last Time I Lied, The Only One Left, Lock Every Door, Home Before Dark, House Across the Lake, Final Girls, and Survive the Night. Sorry, Gwen.
It's fine. It's fine.
Verity for Santa. Tomorrow Times 3. Daisy Jones and the Six. Oh, that's a good. That's actually a good one. Like,
is it good? That's a really good answer. But Angel got it right. It's Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. That is my favorite book of all time. It has to be that one. It's a chunky book. I feel like I've already read it twice. I read it back to back. I read it for the first time this year, and then I immediately read it again. I feel like every time I reread it, it's going to be like a comfort read for me, even though it's like a sad book. And I feel like I'll get something new out of it every single time. So
Hannah's would be Anne of Green Gables.
Cute.
Lana's would obviously be Willowbrook. So good question, Summer, if you're still here. Okay, so before we give out our final star rating, do you have any additional things you want to ask? I saw that you put like any theories, but
yeah, we kind of did that. I didn't really have anything else other than that.
Yeah. I felt like we kind of covered everything. I loved all the fun questions as well. So if you guys want to keep those up for next, future book discussions, I love fun questions like that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another one would be Watership Down. That's an interesting one. Okay. So finally, what is your final star rating? And everyone in the comments, put your final star rating if you haven't already. But what is your final star rating, Gwen?
5 stars. I loved this book so much. There's only really been like 2 books that I would say that I didn't really love. I did love The House Across the Lake, and I didn't love The Final Girls. I just thought it was okay at 3 stars. I think I gave Lock Every Door a 4 stars, Home Before Dark a 4 stars, but everything else has been a 5 stars. And if you're new and you don't really know my like history with Riley Sager, I love nobody loves Survive the Night. I loved Survive the Night. But yeah, I loved this one too. I liked the pacing. I liked the characters. I liked the wacky, crazy, twisty end. I loved it.
Agreed. So I am also, so when I first finished it, I was like, it's a 4.5. So do I round up? Because it wasn't, but at the end, I really enjoyed it. It's definitely a 5-star read for me. It's just not my top 5-star from him. The order that I put was Home Before Dark, The Last Time I Lied, Survive the Night, which I also loved. The only one left, Final Girls, Lock Every Door, and then The House Across the Lake. So I also want to say that like all of my Riley Sager books have been rated 4 stars or higher, except one. And if you kept up with my list, you'll know which one it is. Or you can go listen to a podcast episode to find out more about that. So yeah, I'm giving this 5 stars. I feel like it's more of a 4.5, but I do love it more. And I also gave Final Girls 5 stars, but I do like this one a lot more than Final Girls. So let's see. Going to start the August read tomorrow. Yay. We'll get into that in just a little bit because if you guys didn't know, there is some excitement around the next book club pick. The Star of the Sea would be Summers. I'm not surprised at all. Of course, Sandra, thanks for participating. 5 stars.
The worst part about finishing the book is I have to wait a year for another Riley Sager.
I know.
But also, Jesse bought me the book. It was like a Christmas present or a birthday present or something like that. I have the note. Hold on, I'll look. Happy birthday, Gwen! It's a birthday present. So yeah, she pre-ordered it for my birthday. I always pre-order Riley Sager books. So
yeah, I texted her. I was like, please don't pre-order this. Let's see. Lena knocked off a star because it had too many twists in the ending. So did Megan. I did love the atmosphere.
Yes.
As when I would watch Wild Manor and Willow House. 5 stars. 5 stars. Yep, we both had 5 stars, which I'm not surprised. I had to feel good.
Yeah.
Or the only thing that made me nervous that we weren't going to love it is because of The House Across the Lake. I was like,
what if we hate it? But yeah.
Yeah, I gave one of his books 3 stars and one 3.5, and the rest are 4 and 5. Perfect. Jesse, is this your first 5-star for a sleep? No, it isn't. And Lena, the first book I thought of was You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Geneva Rose, which I know you are not loving that as a 5-star. I know that
I also gave that one a 5 stars.
Yay! I gave that one a 5-star for like many different reasons. So
yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being my co-host, Gwen. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yay!
Let's see.
Yeah.
Somehow like the Geneva. Somehow we liked it. Also, let me grab the next book. You'll have to excuse me. So the next book club pick is A Twisted Love Story by Samantha Downing. This is going to be the August pick. Like I said, my co-host is Rachel from Happy Go Lovely Sleeves. She sells those infamous book sleeves that you probably see everywhere. But she also does like reading sprints and things like that. So she will be my co-host for the month of August. And what is super exciting is Samantha Downing herself will be here on my channel for the first part. So we're going to have lots of fun discussing this book, but also like just chatting with her in general. So make sure you pick up a copy. Make sure you join Discord. That way you can also leave questions for the book discussion, but also questions for Samantha Downing herself. So I do have like separate channels for that as well. But the live show will be Monday, August 21st at 8 p.m. Eastern here on my channel. And then again, links for everything is down below. So yeah, I'm so excited and nervous, but
I'm so excited for August because I know there have been other book clubs that have announced A Twisted Love Story as their book club pick as well, which I think is awesome. That means there's a lot of hype surrounding the book, and I love that for the author. But you're the only one that I know that it's going to have the author on. So if you read it for another book club, like whatever, do your thing, but come to the live show to watch Samantha Downing with Jesse and Rachel. It's going to be so much fun.
And the reason why I'm doing it a little bit earlier in the month on the 21st is because the next week will actually be part of the back to school readathon, which Gwen is the creator and the main host for that readathon. It is a back to school themed, which I have an announcement video. So does Gwen, so does Keisha and Liv from Liv's Library. So make sure you go check that out. But yeah, the live show discussion will be a week earlier. I try to do the last Monday of every month, but we're doing it a week earlier because of the readathon. So I also have read it already, and I have multiple thoughts about this one.
Yay!
Yes, super, super excited. Yeah, I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I can't remember. But
I think that's everything.
Yeah, I think we covered the book, we covered the next pick. Also, I do want to let everyone, this was it. I have a very super exciting announcement for September's Sleep When I'm Dead coming out Saturday. So make sure you subscribe. I might do like a premiere so we can chat. I might not. We'll see what's going on. But yeah, we'll go ahead and end for the night. Thank you so much, Gwen, for being my co-host. And we will see y'all later.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.